today we are going to be looking at calculating mean, median and mode in a set of quantities, using mean, median and mode to compare two sets of data and estimated mean using Greek frequency. And this covers the entire topic of averages. So when we're calculating mean, median and mode, we need to know what each of them are in order to be able to do the calculations. So mean, which is also known as the average, and we calculate this by adding the amounts together and dividing by how many numbers there are. To calculate the median, we order our numbers from smallest to largest, and then we find our middle number. Now, if there are two numbers in the middle, we add together and divide by 2. Our mode is our most common number. If there are two numbers that are the mode, you must list both. And then the range is the difference between the largest or the smallest, or the largest take away the smallest. So whichever way you wish to do that. Okay, so what we're now going to do, we're going to have a look at some data and calculating each of these. So looking at this set of data, we are going to have a go at calculating the mode. So our mode is our most common. So our most common number, if we count, we've got 3 10s, 2 11s, 2 12s, 1 13, 1 14, so our mode is 10. Then to calculate our median, we order our numbers, listing every number from smallest to largest. So we're going to go 10, 10, 10. We've got 2 11s, 2 12s, a 13, and a 14, and we're going to cross off each side until we've got a middle number. So 10, 13, 10, 12, and we're left with the mode of a median of 11. Then our range, which is our largest, 14, take away our smallest, which is 10, which gives us a range of 4. And then our mean. So what we do here is we add together all the numbers and then divide by how many they are. So to make mean easier, you can add each column add together the columns and then divide by how many. So we've got 10, 12 and 12, so 24, we've got 34. Add 10, 14 is 24, add 13 is 37, add 11 and 10 is 21, add 11 is 32. We're now going to add 34, 37 and 32, which then leaves us with 92, 99, add your 4, 103, divided by how many there is, which is 1, 2, 3, 9, and we are left, as these questions fall on your calculator paper, so we're going to do how many 9s in 103, so 103 divided by 9 gives us 11.44. And we want to give 2 decimal places with any of our answers. So let's have a look now at some questions around this. So here we've got a list of children's heights and we calculate the following. So we want the mode, the median, and the teacher believes the mean height is 145 centimetres. Is she correct? So our mode, let's have a look at which number is our most common. And our most common looks like it is 145 centimetres. Then we're going to do our median. So our lowest number is 139. Then I've got 139.5. Then 2 lots of 140. Then 141. 142. 142.5. 143.5. We've got 3 lots of 145. And then we've got 146. So now we cross off. So we've got cross off in pairs. 139.5, 145, 140, 145, 140, 145, and we're left with these two in the centre. So as before, what we need to do is we need to add together and divide by 2, which will get our median. So we are left with 184.5 284.5, sorry, and we are left with 142.25 is our median. And then the teacher believes the mean height is 145. Is she correct? So with our calculator, we're now going to add each column to make it easier. So we're going to do 145, 143.5, 146, 140 first. To check that we're not inputting too much data into the calculator and getting ourselves confused. So 574.5. Then our next column, so 142, add 139, add 145, add 141 is 567. And this prevents any mistakes being made by typing in too many numbers in the calculator. 139.5 add 140 gives us 567. And then we're going to add these up. 574.5 add 567 add 567. So add 567 add 574.5 gives us 1,708.5. And we're going to divide that by how many? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 divided by 12 gives us a mean of 142.375 or 142.38. So is the mean height 145? No, it is 104. There we go. We've got our answer. So that is calculate mean, median, and mode. So our next that we are going to have a look at is we're going to have a look now when we are comparing data. So in your exam, on your calculator paper, you'll be asked to compare sets of data using what we call average calculations. These are any of the 4 we have just covered. The question may give you a clue what to do or ask you to choose two to do. So I'm going to show you both examples. The first one, the exam and the question gives us a clue about what to do. So here, the council want to know the average amount of children attending nursery since the COVID-19 pandemic. In 2019, the mean attendance was 55, the mode attendance. The table below shows the attendance percentage so far in 2022. Make 2 comparisons of the data between 2019 and 2022. So what we do here, we need to look at what the question is asking us, and then we need to find any clues to help us interpret this data. So here they've used the mean and the mode. So we're going to find the mean and mode of the data in 2022. So our mode is easy enough. So it says comparison here, and this is where you got to write a comparison sentence. So for example, our mode, we've got 65 that appears twice. So we're going to say our mode in 2022 of 65%. It's always good to use the actual figures. Is that more or less than 2019? 65 is larger than 52, so has increased since the mode in 2019 of 52%. Brilliant. So that's our first one. Then we're now going to have a look at the mean. So the mean in 2022, no, that's not as obvious. So now we're going to have to work it out. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to input all my data into my calculator. So I'm going to do 60, add, so as before, let's add up each column. 60, add 65, add 79 is 204. 67, add 65, add 79 is 211. 60, add 70 is 130. And 65, add 75 is 140. I'm now going to add each of those. So 204, add 211, add 130, add 140 is 685. Divided by there's 10 sets of data, which then gives me 68.5% is my mean. And that is higher because we can see in 2019 it was 55. So the mean in 2022, 65%, has increased since the mean in 2022 of 55%. And that is how we compare data when we are given clues in the exam. Sometimes the exam might tell us to compare data without any indication of what we should do, but it might give us a hint to use any specific appropriate calculation. What I would always say, the nicest ones to use are mean and median. So let's have a look at the question. 3 students sit 3 exams. Their scores are shown in the table below. Look at the table, use 2 appropriate calculations to decide which student has the best exam score. So we need the best student, our reason why, and our supporting calculations. So it's not telling us here what to do. So we're going to pick 2 average calculations. We're going to pick mean and median for each person. So Simon, we're going to do the mean and median. For Lydia, we're going to do the mean and median. And then for Daniel, we're going to do the mean and median. Okay, as we know, median's easiest because it's just ordering. So for the median for Simon, the lowest is 73, 78, 82, 78 is our middle. Then let's have a look at Lydia's median. So 71, 84, 86, and Lydia's is our median, and 84, and Daniel's 70, 76, 89, and Daniel's is 76. So at the moment we can see Lydia has the highest median percentage score. Now we're going to do each mean. So now what we don't have to do is we have to show our support calculation, but we don't have to each column. So we're going to do 78, add 82, add 73. So let's find out what that is on our calculator. 78, add 82, add 73 is 233, divided by 3 is then 77.67%. So now we've got Simon's mean. Let's now do Lydia's mean. So 84 add 86 add 71. So 84 add 86 add 71. So I'm always writing things down before I'm actually popping them into the calculator. 241 divided by 3 is then 80.33%. Currently Lydia's mean's the highest, and then let's do Daniel's to finish with. 89 add 70 add 76. This is where all your marks come in this question from your calculations. So it's 235 divided by 3, which then gives us 78.33%. And we get, because these questions are around 5 or 6 marks, we get our marks from showing our calculations, making our decisions, and then our sentences. So who has the best average scores? Simon's got 78 and 77, Lydia's got 84 and 80, and Daniel's got 76 and 78. So we can say Lydia is the best student, and the reasons why is because she's got the highest average scores, or highest median and mean scores out of the 3. And that is how we compare data. Our last topic that we are going to have a look at today is estimating mean from grouped frequency. When calculating estimated mean, we follow the formula below. The total of the frequency times the midpoint divided by the total frequency. And this is different to normal mean, so you need to look out for tables like this, because all the tables will look the same. They'll have this same format. So now what I'm going to break down to you is actually how we solve the problems like this. So all you need to remember is this: total of frequency times your midpoint divided by your total frequency. So your first step is to find your midpoints. These are your middle numbers between each of these. Now, if you can't spot it already, you can add your numbers together and divide by 2. So between 0 and 10 is 5, between 10 and 20 is 15, between 20 and 30 is 25, 30 and 40 is 35. Notice they'll go up in sets. 40 and 50 is 45. So now we've found our midpoints. What we now do is we multiply by the frequency to find the total. So we're now going to multiply all these numbers together. So we have now got 21 times 5, which is 105. We've got 11 times 15, which is 165. We've got 31 times 25, which is 775. We've got 12 times 35, which is 420. And we've got 25 times 45, which is 1,125. And this is known as our total of frequency times midpoint, which is here. That's your first part of your formula. So you've got to add all these together now. It's really, really important to take care when you're doing these calculations on a computer. So which is 2,590. So we have our first step. So total of frequency times midpoint. Divided by total frequency. So now we have this one here, which is 2,590. Now we add our frequency. So we add this column. Now, sometimes in the question, it can give you a clue. So this tells us our frequency total. And if you check that in the calculator, it would make 100. So now our total frequency is now 100. And all we do is we divide this number by this one to get our answer for the estimating mean length of fish. So divided by 100 gives us 25.9. And then because it's in centimetres, and that is our answer. We do not round, so don't round. And your number should fall somewhere in here. So if you got an answer of 155, something's gone wrong. So your answer should fall within the numbers of this first column. So what we're just going to have a look at now is we're going to have a look at a problem question. So a golf coach wants to tell a beginner how he is performing. He tells the beginner that he should be able to hit the ball 150 yards on average, so his average must be 150 yards. He tests the beginner and records the distance of each hit. Is the beginner performing at an average level? Explain your answer using figures. So here we've got group frequency, so we've got to find our midpoints first. So our mids are 135 to 140. Right, if we can't see that straight away, we do 135 plus 140 divide by 2 is 137.5. Then our next one, 140 at 145. Divide it by 2 gives us 142, and you'll start to know that they'll have a pattern. So our next one, because that's 5 and that's 0, it's going to be 147.5. Then our next one, 152.5. And we found our midpoints. We're now going to multiply our midpoints by our frequency. And we're going to show this calculation before we actually pop it into the calculator. Right, so now we're going to pop those numbers into the calculator. 137.5 times 4 is 550. 142.5 times by 13 is 1,852.5. 147.5 times by 17 is 2,507.5. And then our last one, 152.5 times by 6 is 915. We're then going to add those up, which equals which equals 5,825. We're then going to divide that by our total frequency. So we're going to do 4, add 13, add 17, add 6. So 4, add 13, 4, add 13, add 17, add 6, which is 40. So 5,825 divided by 40 gives us 145.625 yards. So is the beginner performing? He needs to be hitting at 150. So we're going to say no, he is hitting an average of 145.625 yards, which is less than the 150 yards he should be doing. And that is our 5-mark question. Okay, another example that we can do, which we don't need to because it's not on there, which is okay. So what I have got for you on this, I've got a average worksheet based on all the questions that we've done today. So mean, median, mode, estimated mean, and comparing data. What's super important to remember is have revision cards in those areas, so you are constantly reminding yourself the differences between those calculations. Because if you can do those 1-mark questions of calculating the mean, calculating the mode, you can then move on to the more problem questions, which is like the comparing data. Okay. So thank you for listening today, and complete the worksheet and you should be more comfortable with averages and calculations.